Welcome once again, children, to my virtual English classroom of CBSE English Core Syllabus of Class 11. Today I am here with the poem The Voice of Rain by Walt Whitman from your Hornbill textbook. Know a little about the poet Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman was an American poet, essayist, journalist, and a humanist. He was among the most influential poets in the American canon, often called the father of free verse. He was born on the 31st of May 1819 at West Hills, New York, United States. He breathed his last on the 26th of March 1892 at Camden, New Jersey, United States. Some of his well-known poems are Leaves of Grass, Song of Myself, O Captain, My Captain, and many more. It's worth mentioning here that he was awarded with the Golden Kite Award for picture book illustration. Please open to page 41 of your Hornbill textbooks. Let us recite the poem, The Voice of Rain, before we go into the details of it. The Voice of the Rain. And who art thou, said I to the soft falling shower, which, strange to tell, gave me an answer, as here translated. I am the poem of the earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable, out of the land and the bottomless sea. Upward to heaven, whence, vaguely formed, altogether changed, and yet the same. I descend to lave the droughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. And forever, by day and night, I give back life to my own origin, and make pure and beautify it. For song, issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. Okay, let me give you a brief central idea of the poem. First of all, the poem The Voice of the Rain by Walt Whitman, it signifies the eternal role that rain plays in our lives by nurturing, quenching, and purifying the various elements of the earth. The rain returns the favor to its place of birth or to its place of origin, that is the earth, from where it rises unseen from the depths of the water and from the land. The rain itself is speaking to the readers about its origin, its work, and its cyclic movement. A comparison has also been drawn between rain and music or poem, as both of them make the world livelier and return to their place of origin after fulfilling their purpose. Now, let us understand the poem stanza wise. Stanza 1. And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower, which, strange to tell, gave me an answer, as here translated. I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. So, children, who is the I in the first line? The I is the poet. The poet is asking the soft falling shower. Soft falling shower is the rain. The poet is asking the rain, who art thou? That means, who are you? To which the rain answers in her own voice. So the entire poem is the answer given by the rain to the poet. So the poem begins with the poet asking for the identity of the soft falling rain shower. And much to the surprise of the poet, the rain replies to his question, which the poet translates for his readers. That means for us. The rain, in its own voice, tells the poet that she is the poem of this earth. What does she mean here? Poem of this earth means she is born out of this earth, creation of the earth. The rain is trying to say that just as music or poetry gives pleasure to human beings, similarly, the rain gives pleasure and happiness to Mother Earth. Stanza 2. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea, upward to heaven, whence vaguely formed, altogether changed, and yet the same. Now, here the poet is telling us about the rain's eternal process. It only takes different forms at different times. It emerges from the land and the deep sea in the form of intangible water vapor, that is, the impalpable water vapor, and rises up to the sky. On reaching the higher levels of the sky, there it takes an indistinct shape in the form of clouds. All of you will relate to this very well because you know what the water cycle is. The three processes involved in water cycle, evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, that is what the poet is talking about here. All the three processes through which rain is formed is mentioned here. Although it changes in its form or shape, its core matter remains the same. So it remains water, whether in the form of vapor or whether in the form of droplets. So since water and cloud contain water, they can get transformed into each other. The words impalpable, eternal, these words, they also indicate something more to you. They indicate that nature cannot be completely understood by us, and some part of it will always remain beyond our reach. So there will always remain a level of curiosity in nature. But anyway, the, this particular stanza of the poem basically talks about the eternal aspect of rain. It only changes its form from water to water vapor and back to water. It comes back to its origin. It comes back to its birthplace, that is to the earth. But it never dies. Stanza 3. I descend to lave the droughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. So here the rain talks about its work. What does it do to the earth? The raindrops, they pour down from above to wash away the droughts and the dust layers enveloping the earth. It satisfies the thirst of the dry earth and heals and cleanses everything that is degrading and is lying lifeless and dull. The rain showers, they also remove the dust particles and they make the earth clean and green. How do they make the earth green? Because rain also helps in the germination of seeds. Seeds that were lying dormant due to the dry spell of a season. Once it starts raining, these unborn latent seeds start germinating and there is vegetation all over the earth, adding to the greenery of the earth. Stanza 4. And forever, by day and night, I give back life to my own origin and make pure and beautify it. For song issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. Now, this is in continuation of the previous stanza, that is stanza 3. The rain continues talking about its work on the earth. The rain is involved in a continuous process of giving life on earth. It returns its favor. Why? Because the rain is born out of the earth. The origin of rain is the earth. So it returns its favor to its origin by giving life to the earth. How? By providing water to dormant seeds to germinate and by cleaning the earth and making the earth more beautiful with greenery by aiding in germination. Rain helps in enhancing the beauty of the earth as well. Because in the absence of water, everything turns dull or lifeless and dust accumulates everywhere. All of you know this. So the rain returns its favor to its origin, to the earth by providing water to the dormant seeds to germinate and provide greenery to the earth, by cleansing the earth of its dust, and by giving life to the earth, by providing, by washing it of its dust, by cleansing it of its impurities, and also by providing greenery. Now you will observe that in this stanza, the last two lines are within brackets. Remember, children, these two lines within brackets are not the voice of the rain. It is once again the poet speaking to us. In the first line, it was the poet speaking to the rain, "Who art thou?" And at the end, these two lines are the poet speaking to us, or you may say reflecting upon the answers given by the rain. So the last two lines are the poet's own words and his reflections upon the answers given by the rain. So what are his reflections? What is the poet telling us in the last two lines? The poet observes that life of rain is similar to that of a song. Just like a song or a poem is creativity at its best, it has the power to calm, it has the power to heal, rejuvenate, transform, and thrill human beings. Similarly, the rain, it cleanses the earth and rejuvenates the earth, heals the earth, purifies the earth. So the poet therefore draws a parallel between rain and music. Please understand, music and poem mean the same here. So the poet draws a parallel between rain and music because both of them have rhythm and the ability to thrill, ability to make us happy. Both of them rejuvenate and beautify life. So just as the rain in the initial lines of the poem had said that I am the poem of the earth, at the end of the poem, after hearing the rain's reply, the poet Walt Whitman, he agrees to the rain and he also adds to it and says, yes, just like a song, whether wrecked or unwrecked, that means whether it is recognized or not, just like a song, whether you cared for it or not, whether you recognize it or not, it will, whether you notice it or not, it provides happiness, it provides love to human beings. So similarly, the rain, whether you notice it or not, the rain provides a favor or gives back more love to the earth, to its origin, in the form of greenery, in the form of cleansing, in the form of rejuvenation and beautification. I have given you the word meanings of some important words of the poem here, though I have explained the words in my course of explanation of the poem, but still I have provided you the list of the words with their meanings. I'll just read it out for you once. Thou means you, soft falling means dropping softly, shower means raindrops, eternal is everlasting, impalpable is something which you are unable to feel by touching. Bottomless means very deep. Upward is towards a higher level, rising upwards. Whence means from where. Vaguely, unclearly. Formed, made into a specific shape or form. Descend is to move or fall downwards. Lave is to wash. Droughts means dry spells. Atomies is very tiny and small particles. Latent means dormant or inactive. Issuing, originating or starting. Fulfillment, completing the cycle. Wrecked, cared about. Unwrecked, uncared for. Duly is properly or rightly. Now, let us discuss the poetic devices, or what we say the figures of speech used in the poem. We begin with personification. Personification is when an inanimate object is given a human form. Here, the rain is personified. You know why? Because the rain is speaking here. Only a human being speaks. So the rain is given a human form, and the voice of the rain is speaking to the poet. So the rain has been personified as it has been given a voice in the poem. Metaphor. Metaphor, is a comparison. So I am the poem of the earth. This is what the voice of the rain had said. So the poet uses a metaphor here to compare how the rain leaves the ground to come back to the ground, giving back to it much like a person who leaves his home only to come back after fulfilling his journey. Just like a human being, he leaves his home, finishes his journey, task, and comes back home. Similarly, the rain, it is born out of the earth, it leaves the earth, goes up to the sky, and then again comes back in the form of rain to its home, to the ground once again. So, I am the poem of the earth is a metaphor. Parallelism or simile. In the last two lines of the poem, where the poet says, the poet draws a parallel between the rain and the song of the poet. So, drawing a parallel means drawing a comparison, where he compares the rain to a song and the song to a rain. That is the simile in the last two lines of the poem. Then hyperbole. Hyperbole. Bottomless sea is an example of hyperbole. Now, is the sea really bottomless? No. Here, bottomless means very, very deep. So the poet describes the sea as bottomless, which is an exaggerated statement, only to bring out the desired effect, only to explain to you that the sea is very, very deep. The poet uses the word bottomless, which is an exaggeration. The sea is actually not bottomless. So this is an example of a hyperbole. Imagery. In the first line of the poem, soft falling shower gives the reader an image of the gentle rain or drizzle. So what is imagery? Imagery is when the reader is able to imagine, have a visual imagination of the line that is spoken about. So when you read the line, soft falling shower, you can imagine gentle rain or a drizzle. So during the dialogue between the poet and the rain, it creates an image of showers or drops of water falling down from the heaven to the earth and infusing it with greenery, purity, and beauty. So I'm sure you have understood the soft falling shower is an example of an imagery. In fact, the entire poem where the rain explains its work to the poet talks about purifying the earth, providing greenery to the earth, beautifying the earth. Everywhere it is actually an example of visual imagery. Thanks for watching, children. This is VK Jayashree from Excel English with VKJ. If you like my video, kindly like, share, and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.